By the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudev and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, we have come to Akrur Ghat. This is a place that is saturated with powerful thoughts. It's a most holy tirtha. This is the place where, when Krishna was coming from Nandagaon, Akrur had come from Mathura, and on the order of Kamsa to invite Krishna to a wrestling match. Akrur's patience had expired. He understood that this boy Krishna was his death knell, and he was terrified, and he was trying in every way to check Krishna coming and killing him ultimately. So his final plan was to send Akrur, Krishna's uncle. He thought if he sent Krishna's uncle, invited him to a wrestling match in Mathura, then he would be able to kill him very easily. So Akrur came to Nandagaon and stayed with Nanda Baba, Mother Yashoda, and told his plan to bring Krishna to Mathura, to the wrestling match, immediately, and for Nanda Baba to pay some taxes to Kamsa. And immediately all the Sakas and Nanda Baba, the Gopas, they all got their wagons together, their carts together, and they made plans to come with Krishna. So everyone was in some sort of festive mood, except of course for Krishna's beloved gopis. The gopis could not tolerate even one moment, even the blinking of an eye away from Sri Krishna. So when they heard of this idea of Krishna going to Mathura, they were horrified. And they couldn't understand why no one in the village was actually checking them. Why is no one stopping? Why is Nanda Baba not restricting Krishna from going? In the West we just take photos, we don't pose for it. He wants the right light, the right smile. Probably for his photo album, I don't know what it's newspaper. So this is a very poignant place, because this is where Akrur, he brought Krishna and Balaram. The gopis, they tried in so many ways to check Krishna. They were throwing themselves in front of the chariot. They were weeping, wailing. Krishna sent a message, I will come back tomorrow or the next day, surely. This was still intolerable. Can we imagine the height of the gopis praying for Krishna? They could not tolerate even the thought of Krishna going away for a single day. But nevertheless, Krishna urged Akrur to drive that chariot, and he wove it round the gopis who were lying in the path. And Akrur means not cruel, but the gopis are saying he's Krura, he's very cruel in taking our Krishna away. So then Krishna, after an hour or so traveling from Nandagaon, he arrived here, and this is the very border of Vrindavan. So such an important pastime took place here. When Krishna left his manifest form as Rajendrananda and Rohini Nanda, Baladev also, they remained here in their apricot forms. And Vasudeva Krishna and Vasudeva Nanda, Baladev, they went to Mathura. So when the chariot came here, the Yamuna was just close by, and Akrura, he very nicely seated Krishna and Balaram on the chariot. It had been a warm, hot day. They had arrived here, he put the chariot in the shade. They were sitting nicely, and then he went to take his bath and chant his mantras in the Yamuna. So he submerged himself in the Yamuna, and he meditated on his Ishtadev, Sanatan Brahm, or four-armed Vishnu form. And as he was meditating on this form, all of a sudden he saw clearly Krishna and Balaram right in front of him. And he thought, well, this is strange, I've just left them on the chariot here. So then he came out of the water, out of the Yamuna, and he came back to the chariot and he saw that they were there, also just sitting and reclining as before. So then he became quite astonished and bewildered. What is happening here? Then again he went into the Yamuna, and again he saw Krishna and Balaram, but this time he saw all of the Vishnu incarnations. He saw the entire forms of Krishna, the Vishnu, that was surrounded by eternal time, the elements, just as Lord Brahma had seen that form of Krishna, of Vishnu rather, when he came to take the cowherd boys, that we'll hear about in a few days' time. So he saw this enormous form of Krishna, of Vishnu, and he also saw Baladev and Balaram and Krishna there simultaneously in the forms that he had just left them on the chariot. So he was totally astonished and he began offering beautiful prayers to Vishnu and Krishna and Balaram. And then he came out of the water and again he saw Krishna and Balaram seated on the chariot. Krishna said, "Oh, Akrura, you look as if you have seen something astonishing." Akrura's hair was standing on end, he was weeping. He was completely astonished by what he'd seen. And Akrura at that time, he didn't say anything, but he understood that this is that supreme Lord of my heart, Sri Krishna. But he was so happy to see that two-armed form again of Krishna. So we see this distinction between Mathuresh Krishna and Vrindavan Krishna. This is a very, very important point for us all to appreciate fully. Gurudev said on many occasions that not even a mosquito can go between Mathura and Vrindavan. This is a whole nother world. And this is the very borderline. It's saying Vrindavanam Parityaja Padam Ekam Nagachati, that Krishna, he never leaves Vrindavan. So this is that place where he appeared to leave Vrindavan. And this is the pastime that Akrura witnessed when he saw that manifestation in the Jamuna. So in this is one of the pastimes that took place here. Also, Krishna's father, Nanda Baba, he was following Ekadashi here. And at that time, he was at Dwadasi the next day, and he broke his bath at an inauspicious time. At that time, there was a servant of Varunadev, and he took Nanda Baba. And he took Nanda Baba to the palace of Varunadev under the ocean. And at that time, Krishna understood what was happening, and he followed, he dove into the ocean, and he went to rescue Nanda Baba. And when he came into that assembly of Varunadev, in that beautiful palace under the ocean there, he saw his father was sitting and being very respectfully treated by Varunadev. And Varunadev was so happy to see Sri Krishna come to his place. And he very beautifully worshipped him and honored him with all reverence and glory. And Nanda Baba was astonished to see the mood that Varunadev was worshipping Nanda Baba. And when Nanda Baba returned, he confided this pastime with the other Gopas. And at that point they asked Krishna, "Can you show us the Brahman? Can you show us the Vaikuntha worlds?" Because at that point they were thinking, well, perhaps Krishna is the Supreme Lord. They were thinking like that. So at that time, Krishna, he took all the Brijvasis and he dumped them in the Jamuna here. This is called Brahma Krida, or Akrura Krida, where they saw the entire Brahma creation. And at that time they were astonished, but they weren't very comfortable there. They were seeing that everyone was actually glorifying their darling Sri Krishna, and they felt ill at ease, and they were very satisfied to actually return back to the Vrindavan conception. So Gurudev has spent so many years and so many classes explaining all of these particular points of the difference between Brajendranandan, Mathuresh Krishna, Parthasarthi Krishna, Dwarkadish Krishna, etc. These different conceptions of Krishna's personality. And it's all an understanding of what is Madhurya and what is Aishwarya, what is the sweetest exchange with Krishna. So these are the gifts, in fact, that Krishna and Mahaprabhu have come to bestow upon us in this age, at this time, this Raganuga Bhakti. And this can be understood from this pastime here. So this is a very, very important place. This is that dividing line between Vrindavan and Mathura. So also here, Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he was traveling here, he came and he stayed here. And he was meditating deeply on Krishna here. And every day he would go to Imlital. And he would take his Naam, japa there, he would chant beautiful Naam in Imlital. But he would stay every evening here at Akruragan. So this place is blessed by the darshan, by the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Balaram, and Akrura was here, and all the Brijvasis. So this is a very powerful tirtha that we can take the dust and we can pray that this understanding of who is Brajendrananda, who is Mathuresh Krishna, what is the difference between the two in these pastimes, and how to remain in this Vrindavan conception and try and understand the deepest points of what is Madhurya Bhav, what is that sweet relationship that the gopis exhibited by their love for Krishna, how to follow in the footsteps of the Brajvasi gopis. So this is our great desire, to take this dust and to beg for this benediction, to understand and to follow in Anugatya the affection that the gopis were able to exhibit for Sri Krishna in Vrindavan. Sri Akruragat Ki Jai. Vanchagopatam Vishram, Vikasinda Devisham, Patitanam Bhakti Vaishnava.